We're going to start our meeting today, if we're ready. It is January 31st, 2024. We're here for the Education, Environment, Sustainability meeting. Can I have a roll call?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Simon.
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Schrein.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Yes.
There is a quorum. Also like the record to reflect that Council Member Turner is in attendance.
Thank you very much. And any public comment?
No, Madam Chair, no one is signed in.
We have minutes from November 22nd. Can I have a motion, please, to approve those minutes?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Minutes adopted. No amendments. We'll move forward with the first matter referred to committee. We have a big agenda today, everybody, so thanks for your anticipated patience. It will be interesting, though. First item is 2023-0352.
Resolution number 2023-0352, awarding a total sum not to exceed $50,000 to the City of Euclid for Year 3 of the South Euclid, to the City of South Euclid for Year 3 of the South Euclid Deer Sterilization Program from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. Is Police Chief able to come up? Good afternoon.
I want to thank everybody for their time today. I'll be brief. I just wanted to update everyone and ask for their support.
Can you give your
again.
name for the record, even though we know you're...
I'm sorry, Chief Joseph Mays for South Euclid. Brief update, we just finished up Year 3 of the sterilization project for the deer sterilization project that we're doing in South Euclid. This year, they were able to successfully sterilize 18 deer. They captured 20, sterilized 18, and they were able to place GPS tracking collars on an additional 4 deer. So 2 of those were not sterilized so that they can serve as a control group. So that puts the total of our sterilization project over 3 years of 122 deer that have been sterilized. Comparing those numbers over the course of the 3 years with our motor vehicle accidents related to deer, we're down 60%. So we've had a 60% reduction in deer vehicle accidents over the course of 3 years that we've run the sterilization and the culling project together. So I think that just based off those numbers, I think it's a successful program. I'd like to see it continue, and that's why we're here today, is to ask for your continued support. If anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, any questions from the committee?
Through the chair to the chief, just wanted to know, you spoke about 122 deer. Is this just for the City of South Euclid?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And the traffic accidents as well?
Correct.
So just for everybody's edification, these are all female. They are spayed. They go through an ovarectomy process. They get released back into the territory from which they were actually darted and retrieved. But what happens is that the whole south side, basically, of South Euclid, almost the entire south side, has been part of the study. So that whole half our city is sterilized. So it's stable, we think, and we're going to continue to see these numbers go down. And we encroached into the north end of the city, so it's over half the city that's been under this pilot program, and it's...
That's correct. And those were areas that we were having difficulty in getting the ODNR in there to cull, because they're very densely populated. So culling is just not really an option in those areas. So that's why the sterilization came in and was able to manage those. And also, I think that we're going to get better population counts now. The sterilization company is going to come in with drones and do some population counts using drones and infrared, which I think is going to be a little bit better than trail cameras and what's being used right now. So I think that we're on the right path.
Okay, thanks so much, Chief, and thanks to Keith Benjamin for your help and council support of this. We are a national pilot. Everybody's looking at the city with the county support with a new way to do things that are both humane and actually long-term effective. So thanks, Chief. Without any questions, I ask for a motion to move this matter to the next full council for second reading.
So moved. Madam Chair, I think
Yes.
this is an ARPA fund, so do we have to go all
Second
through?
reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. My brain
Yep.
was already processing
Second reading.
Second reading. Yep,
So do you second? Oh. Okay, Council President, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
apologies. I was thinking-
Next item, 2024-0003.
I wasn't so much in favor of the project. I was ready to go.
Resolution number 2024-0003, awarding a total sum not to exceed $20,000 to the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, NOBLE, Greater Cleveland Chapter for the Teen Summit and Cut with the Cop program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you identify yourself?
I sure can. I'm Thomas McMillan. I'm the president of NOBLE for the Greater Cleveland Chapter.
Okay.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to council for allowing me to present on NOBLE, the history of NOBLE, and 2 new initiatives for NOBLE. So I am the president of NOBLE, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives for the Cleveland Chapter. NOBLE was founded in 1976 as a result of a 3-day symposium to address high crime in urban areas. We had over 60 executives from across the country, from 50 major cities and 24 major states, to discuss these topics of fairness, of justice, police community relations, and hiring and promotion of Black executive officers. Currently, NOBLE established as a result of that. NOBLE was established. We have over 60 chapters, 6 regions, 4,000 plus members. We have chapters in Canada, the Caribbean, United Kingdom, and Africa. Our mission is to ensure equity in the administration of justice and the provision of public service, and to ensure justice by action. We consider ourselves the conscience of law enforcement. We are the inner voice of what's right and wrong. We make an effort to make changes through training, mentoring, community relations, and programs. Our vision is to be recognized as a highly competent public service organization that's at the forefront of providing solutions to law enforcement and to address ever-changing needs in this climate. Subsequently, I would say in 2023, NOBLE had the largest attendance conference ever. It was hosted by the city of Cleveland. There's a 47th chapter. We had over 60 workshops. We had a civil rights bruncheon, a women's symposium, a youth leader conference, and a memorial march. As it relates to the local chapter, NOBLE has 5 principles we want to work on: training, connecting officers and our whole entire staff and executive leads, executive team, the training. We want to make sure we have mentorship, pairing our future rising stars with seasoned veterans. Recruitment, we want to make sure that we promote and have more engaged participation from our members. Legislation, making sure our voice is being heard. And lastly, youth engagement. In 2019, George Floyd hit, and that was a rough year for our youth and law enforcement. We lost a lot of trust. We wanted to rebuild transparency. So one of the things we did with the executive leadership, we met with the Cavaliers, the Browns, and the Indians. And we created CL3, which is the Cleveland Sports Alliance. Subsequently, they vowed to provide $1 million apiece, each to pursue conversations for change that would build trust, transparency, and bridge the gap with law enforcement and our youth. Since then, we've had over 20 engagements with our youth. We attract anywhere from 75 to 150 youth from across Northeast Ohio, well, the city of Cleveland, Northeast Cleveland. And we've had more than 15 police departments engaged. Today, specifically, I want to talk about 2 initiatives that NOBLE would like to sponsor. It's a Teen Summit and a Cut with the Cop. Teen Summit, or the Shaker Heights Teen Summit, we would like to call it, will be an in-person event that will be designed specifically for teenagers who are eager to connect, share experiences, and gain valuable insights. The goal is to inspire the teens through engaging speakers, interactive workshops, and networking opportunities. It will be open to all ages, well, ages 14 to 18. It will occur Saturday, May 11th, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will happen at the Shaker Heights Library. It will cover topics from de-escalation techniques. These are not definitive, but what to do when stopped by law enforcement, college experience, campus life, financial literacy for new college students, HBCU versus PWI. The sessions will be 3 sessions, 45 minutes in length. The caveat with this is we'll also be having a youth community resource fair for the attendees, where they have an opportunity to access services for their academic journey and their success in the college. Our sponsors, Shaker Heights Police Department, the Main Library, 3-Team Alliance, Shaker Heights DEI, of course, Noble, the Greater Cleveland chapter, and Chick-fil-A. That is tentative. Next, we have Cut with the Cop. Don't like the name too much. I think we want to change it. But the date has not been determined yet. We'd like to provide free haircuts, either via a local barbershop or at the college. We're going to do one on the west side and one on the east side. And we'll address some of the economic and social issues related to the increase of haircuts, the cost for buying school supplies for kids. We want to provide kids an opportunity to get book bags, school supplies, and shoes. We hope it'll build self-esteem and the opportunity to connect with law enforcement. This is still fluid, but this is a program that's tried and true. Columbus PD did it, Connecticut, and Memphis had great success with these programs. This concludes my presentation, and I am open for any questions.
Thank you so much. Questions from the committee or comments from the sponsor? Councilwoman Meredith Turner, I believe. You're not, oh, yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to save the time for my colleagues in case you have questions. But through the chair, I want to thank you so much for hearing this excellent presentation. I think it's incumbent upon us to continue to provide programs that address the needs of our youth. Shaker Heights is my community. If you've been paying attention to the news, they've had quite a few issues with youth and fighting and the role of law enforcement in that community. So I want to commend the president for choosing this community to launch this program, and I ask for your support.
Questions from committee? Okay, well,
I just want to thank Councilwoman Turner. She's been a staunch supporter of Noble, so I appreciate you for supporting us and making this happen. Thank you.
so when you have the summit in Shaker,
Yes.
will you invite only Shaker residents?
No, it'll be open to all. So typically, our events attract kids from Cleveland Rec Center, Pepper Pike, Beach, Beechwood, Euclid. So we attract from all over the city. So they will be open to it as well.
And so just one last, I think the last question about the training you do with police to, right, did I hear you say that? There's some training that goes on with the law
Summit?
enforcement?
So we provide training for law enforcement. That's one of our initiatives for 2024, yes.
So have you talked or ever had any contact with our Cuyahoga County Sheriff?
We've had conversations.
Okay. Well, maybe I'd like to follow up with you about, we had a meeting yesterday, and I asked about what we had in place to help with just continuing that education and I'd like to make that conversation continue. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. The sheriff was an attendant at our 47th National Conference.
Great.
So he was a speaker as well. So he's familiar with Noble.
Yeah, I think we had training through Tri-C, maybe, but is that's probably different, right, than what you do a little bit?
I'm not with the training academy. I'm actually a police officer, a lieutenant for the police department.
Right. Okay. All right. So without any questions, I can ask for the motion to move this to the next full council meeting for second reading with okay, second.
Madam Chair, actually, I do have a question.
Okay. President?
When you mentioned the law enforcement, it made me think about the high school. Is Shake Heights High School one of the sponsors as well?
Chief,
Hi, Chief, you want to come up and introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, Wayne Hudson, Police Chief, Shaker Heights Police Department. To address your question, we've had conversations with the high school. They definitely have to be a partner because that's where we're going to probably get the majority of our Shaker kids from. And you are correct. We've had some problems right now with some of the juveniles in our community. We're trying to, take care of some things now because we know as law enforcement leaders, if we don't take care of it now, when we move into the summertime, our crime is going to spike. So we're trying to get something in place now, build those relationships with the kids so they have something to do during the summertime, or at least know us. So when we're out and about, they're not running from us, they're running to us.
Right, this body has brought forth the Closing the Achievement Gap initiative. And we partner with high schools across the county, and it not only pours into the children and helps them to remain in school. We target 9th through 12th grade. Not only does it do that, but it impacts the safety concerns as well. As they partner with law enforcement, Garfield Heights in particular, and Maple Heights are two cities. The law enforcement is capable of red flagging a particular child and sharing with the school system, and those mentors in the high school, they get a chance to address them directly. So it helps them to excel in school, but at the same time addressing some of the things they're doing extracurricularly in the community that they can spend in the extracurricular programming offered within the school itself. So there's again a system in place that I think you would fit perfectly in if the school system was brought to bear as a partner. So I would certainly like to work with Meredith, with the school system potentially to just strengthen those relationships and partnerships so that we can reach those goals.
And I totally agree, because I think we all agree, if kids aren't in school, where are they at?
Exactly.
And I agree as far as mentors as well. I'm part of the 100 Black Men, and our motto is what they see is what they'll be. If they don't see us out doing positive things, see us out in the community, who are they following and what will they be?
And school is where they're supposed to be. So
Exactly. I
imagine you have the
100%
truancy
agree.
tools to make sure every student is in school. So first, I'd like to add my name to this item as well.
Great. How is recruitment going in general? I know it's just pretty flat with hiring and bringing in new blood into the law enforcement realm.
so ours is, we are struggling with recruitment, I think like everyone else is, turnover, people leave. But I would say typically when people come to college at Tri-C, they normally stay. So we're competing with wages, of course, and also special assignments, all types of things. So we are attending an event, a 30 for 30 initiative coming up, where by 2030, we would like to have at least 30% of our women in law enforcement. So that's the new initiative that we're trying to support as well.
Are the numbers the same for fire, safety?
I'm not
There it's
familiar.
better?
I can tell you right now, fire, no. Everybody loves the firefighters, is saying we say. Law enforcement a little different. Because of recent events, the social justice, we are really struggling trying to attract good candidates for the department. So what we have to do as law enforcement leaders, we have to reach back into those schools, because that's where we're going to reach them at. That's where we're going to turn them on to being a law enforcement officer. Get back into the middle schools, follow them to the high school, find some type of cadet program where we can transition them from the high school to a cadet to a full-time position.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just changing things from the inside out. Okay, we have a first, second. Any more questions, comments? We have a motion, second, all in favor?
can we have
Council
another
Pres-
moment of-
Vice President?
It is actually, for those of us who are members of the African American community, wonderful to see several officers from different departments in the room today. Could you recognize your colleagues that are with you today?
Absolutely. We have the Deputy Chief of CMHA. He's also my second VP for Noble. He'll be the new incoming president in a few weeks.
Thank you. Good luck. Your tenure's over, huh?
It is, yeah. Thank you.
And
Okay.
Madam Chair, if you'd add my name to this.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item, 2024-0005, Can I have that read, please?
And just for clarification, who made the second?
I don't know.
I did.
Between Sharon and President, I think President
Thank you.
prevails. Thanks.
Resolution number 2024-0005, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Black Child Development Institute, Ohio, for the trauma-informed curriculum which privileged the unique strengths and needs of Black children from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Blevins. I'm the President and Executive Director of the Black Child Development Institute for Ohio. And I have here with me Sharita Buchanan, who is our membership and ad hoc committee board chair. So I first want to start by thanking you all for taking the time to have us here today. And as I explained, I am the president of the Black Child Development Institute of Ohio. We are the affiliate of the National Black Child Development Institute, which is a national organization, and it was founded in 1970. Here, our organization was chartered in 2017. I'm proud to say that we are the only organization that exclusively advocates on the behalf of Black children. And with that, our mission is to improve and advance the quality of life for Black children and their families through education and advocacy. So our policy agenda and our strategic agenda is really focused on addressing disparities and inequities that disproportionately are Black children. As we carry a strategic agenda to impact Black children and families, our proposal is to support BCDI Ohio's Trauma Informed Care PD series, which acknowledges the need to understand students' life experiences in order to deliver effective relationship building and culturally responsive teaching practices. And it has the potential to improve students' engagement, their attendance, academic outcomes, and staff wellness. Our newest trauma-informed curriculum for educators was developed in partnership with two of the professors at Cleveland State University in the social work department to make sure that we effectively address the social, emotional, and mental health concerns that children and adolescents are facing and make sure that we provide effective strategies to support children in various settings through a cultural lens, which is greatly needed. Research has demonstrated that Black children who have an early positive engagement in the educational environment have a stronger chance of not only remaining in school, but thriving and developing strong academic skills needed to become productive and contributing citizens. And eventually, of course, they could become great role models for their own children. So as a result, the developed curriculum includes 4 modules, which include Module 1. Of course, we'll have the introduction to the training, and we have the worldview of the Black child. So when we talk about the worldview of the Black child, really looking at the child's environment, where they come from. The next module, Module 2, is what is bias and the impact on Black children. So really taking a deep dive, looking at, when we talk about our children that are within the classroom, Black children, looking at their behavior. What do we think that that means? And really assessing what are our own biases. Module 3, the effect on trauma of the Black child. So taking a look at generational trauma, historical trauma, but have educators to really look at their emotional trauma that they have taken on from just knowing the stories of their students. And Module 4 is looking at those special circumstances that Black children and adolescents may face. Special circumstances, lead-poisoned children, how do they show up in the classroom, how do we respond, whether it be domestic violence, whether it is abuse, food insecurity. So those are some examples, as well as incarceration. Each of the 4 interactive sessions are 3 hours per module. So our organization, of course, values and recognizes the importance of lived experiences as a form of expertise to inform our advocacy efforts and programming. We have delivered continuously professional development opportunities for educators, which so far we have impacted 400-plus educators, predominantly here in Cuyahoga County. And we continue to respond to the feedback that have been presented to us from our facilitation of our ongoing listening sessions, and that has been facilitated since the latter of 2022. And we have had approximately over 300 participants within those listening sessions. And our most recent social and emotional learning survey to really get a guidance of what professionals need within the classroom. 1,800 professionals statewide actually completed the survey. And with our listening sessions as well as our survey, lo and behold, the number one need was professional development opportunities. But more specifically, professional development opportunities that will strengthen their response to increased trauma experienced by children and families since the pandemic, provision of strategies to effectively respond to the increased aggressive behavior that has shown up in the classroom, and increased supports of social and emotional learning for children in the classrooms. Our collective data shows since COVID, more than 60% of children now show increased aggression in the classroom, and at least 64% of enrolled children lost a loved one during COVID. 100% of these proposed ARPA dollars will be utilized to deliver the professional development series to educators in early childhood, family child care, as well throughout our districts. Through implementation of training, it will foster greater provision of safe learning environments that increase awareness and understanding for students, prevent the quick diagnosis, but will actually allow educators to get to the root cause of the behavior and respond appropriately. And then ultimately, it will decrease the large suspension and expulsion rate that continually disproportionately impacts Black and brown children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions from the committee? The sponsor, Councilwoman Turner, will probably be right back. I wanted her to say a few words.
Okay.
But I understand, how long have you been, I understand what the goals are. How long has your institute been in effect?
Since 2017, we were chartered, and we have been delivering professional development opportunities since 2018.
And this says Ohio. Are you located here in Cleveland? I mean, is there a main office?
Yes, so we are located in Beechwood.
Okay, good. And that's my district, so.
Okay.
Thank you. So no other I mean, this is great. I mean, it seems like there's no shortage of need and that it's growing probably, especially post-COVID, with all the needs of the kids. And what's the age range of well, you're doing professional support for the teachers, but also with the kids themselves. What's the range?
So for the educators, it's for early childhood to 12th grade. And many of our programs is for ages prenatal to adulthood.
Okay. Well, when Councilwoman Turner comes back in, I'm sure she'll say something, but I'm going to see if there's a motion now without any questions to move this to the next full council meeting for second reading.
Madam Chair, I move that we move this to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And so just so you know that this is read 3 times, this next meeting will be the second reading for our council, and then ultimately on the third reading will be the next council meeting. So,
Okay,
all right, thanks for your presentation. We appreciate your work.
thank you.
Okay. Next item, 2024-0006.
Resolution number 2024-0006, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Linking Partnership Opportunities Foundation for the purpose of Childhood Hunger Initiative Power Pack Program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Michelle Curry. I am the president of Linking Partnership Opportunities. And again, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Committee, and Councilwoman Turner. I have with me Meredith Hill, who leads our CHIP initiative, and I am going to allow her to share more about the program.
Good afternoon. I am Meredith Hill, and I represent Lambda Phi Omega Health Committee, and we are in charge of our CHIP program. The CHIP program, it stands for Childhood Hunger Initiative Power Pack Program. So a lot of P's in there. This program offers a supply of meals and snacks free of charge for students enrolled at designated schools, K through 8. We will give out backpacks to over the weekends and extended breaks. The power packs we provide consist of milk, juice, 2 breakfast items, 2 lunch items, 2 dinner items, snacks, canned fruits, vegetables, and meat items, canned meat items when available. We distribute 65 packs per week and have distributed approximately 1,050 plus over the 2023 fall school year. This program is intended to help children and families who find it difficult to have access to enough food for the entire month. All children are welcome to participate, but families have to enroll in the program. Our chapter, Lambda Phi Omega, has partnered with Robert H. Jameson Elementary School. It is our hope that this program will improve the health, behavior, and achievements of participating students. An evaluation tool will be sent out to families and school staff each semester end to evaluate the effectiveness of the program.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Council Vice Chair.
Thank you, ladies, for doing this work that's incredibly important for children. I have seen in different schools where these packs are given out on Friday afternoons, the expressions in kids' faces.
Yes.
They're going to have a snack this weekend instead of barely being able to eat. Childhood poverty affects how well students learn and what their futures can be like. So thanks for helping stretch this a little bit. Which schools are you in? I see in the report Euclid Park and Daniel Morgan, but I heard something different. That is our sister chapter that has the other schools. Our chapter has Robert H. Jameson. Okay. So AKA has multiple chapters?
Yes.
Okay. And are there the other chapter, how many chapters are there in Cuyahoga County or North? I know there's different chapters in Akron, but what's up here?
We have 2 graduate chapters and 1 undergraduate
Oh, okay.
chapter.
And you're one of the graduate chapters?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Chair, that was it. I just wanted to know where they were at.
Okay, any questions? And I'll have the sponsor go ahead and speak.
Thank you through the chair. I just want to commend you ladies for the service that you provide to our community. If you notice the theme today, we were all given the same amount of ARPA dollars to allocate in the way that we chose to do so. And I am choosing to spend money on our kids. We need a multi-pronged approach to saving them, whether it's feeding them or providing career opportunities or other youth opportunities. So I want to thank you for your leadership in this area, and I implore my colleagues to support this legislation. Thank you.
Second.
Okay. I thought, did you move?
I thought that's what she was doing.
Not on the
I'm sorry,
committee.
she didn't?
Not
Well,
on the
then I can
committee.
move it.
So you move it.
Oh,
I
and I
just
want
want
to
to
add my
say-
name to it. I'll move
Okay.
it and add my name.
Okay, do we have a second? Thank you. Just as stats, I'm looking at the Community Solutions report that 26% of children in this council district are living below the poverty level. That is Councilwoman Conwell's district, this school, U of L of Cleveland. So this is very, very important work. So thank you. We have a first, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so much. Thank you. Next item, 2024-0007.
Resolution number 2024-0007, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Alpha Omega Foundation for the Childhood Hunger Initiative Power Pack Program from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all.
Can you state your name for the
Oh,
record
okay.
also?
My name is Marcia Morrell Smith, and I am the chairman of the foundation. And with me is Denise Robinson, the secretary for the foundation. And we are here to talk about the Childhood Hunger Initiative Power Pack, which is the CHIP program, which you just heard from our sister chapter. Just want to give you a few facts about our organization. Our name is Alpha Omega Foundation. Founded in 1983, we are a nonprofit 501c3 located in Cleveland, Ohio. We are organized for charitable, educational, and community projects, and our motto is service to all mankind. The impact, which is the most important fact on this, is that to date, in 40 weeks, we have delivered 13,440 CHIP meals to elementary students. So, why are we here? Childhood hunger is growing issue. I'll say, why are we here? In Ohio, 412,670 children, I'll let you click right there, face hunger. In Cuyahoga County, 241,400 residents are food insecure. In Cleveland, 1 in 6 children are food insecure, and that the child poverty rate has been consistently among one of the highest in the largest U.S. city. And I'm here as a former principal to tell you that during the school day, we would see our children in the lunchroom, in the breakfast room, and they have their backpacks, and they would take whatever was left on that table, if it was some milk and cereal. But we never said anything, because you're not allowed to take things out of the cafeteria. But we knew that was going to be their dinner that night. So childhood hunger insecurity has been around for a long, long time. Next. Okay. Childhood hunger is a growing issue as 16 million American kids struggle with hunger and food insecurity each year. Our power packs include non-perishable food items, 2 for breakfast, 2 for lunch, and 2 for snacks. Alpha Omega Foundation supplies the food items for the power packs in a customized chip bag, green chip bag, and delivers them weekly to Euclid Park Elementary and Mary Bethune Elementary, which are in District 7. Next. We have 2 schools, and I just want to say a sidebar. In 22-23 school year, we had 70 students that were enrolled in the CHIP program. Fast forward to 2023, we have 106 students enrolled, and that's a 40% increase.
Madam Chair, could you have her repeat those numbers again?
Yeah, we have them here on the screen, but 2270, well, you could repeat them. It's a big increase.
Okay. In 2022-23 school year, we had 70 students enrolled in the CHIP program. Fast forward to 23-24, the next school year, we have 106 students that are enrolled. And we have others who have asked to be on it. We've had other schools ask if we could include them, but our budget restrictions just don't allow us to, and we are looking forward into trying to add more money so that we can add those students, because this is a program that is near and dear to my heart as a former principal and to our organization. We have 2 schools that are involved, Euclid Park Pre-K to 8, located on 17914 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, with Miss Woody as the principal. She has 55 students being served. Our other school, you have to excuse my error, my typing error. I went back to, I was principal at Daniel E. Morgan. So it should say Mary Bethune at 11815 Moulton Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. And Ms. Naganachi is the principal with 51 students. Next, please. How do we do this program? We have volunteers who pack the meals. We have volunteers from our Alpha Omega Foundation, and we also have students from the local colleges, Case, John Carroll, Notre Dame, and CSU, who come in and help, and they also donate goods, and they pack the food and deliver it with our, to our students. Also, the next one, in those packs, we supply an inspiration card. And we have a testimony from one of the little students who was just telling the CHIP coordinator that she was real excited about the supplies that are in it, but more surprised and excited to receive a card because she had never, ever received a card, not a birthday card. This was her first card she ever received, so she was just so excited about not only getting the card. So you can see the impact. We're feeding the nutritional part, and we're trying to feed the emotional part of each student. Next. We also had a testimony from the principal at Mary Bethune, but it did not transfer over to you when I brought the PowerPoint over. And what she is saying is thank you to our organization for providing food for her students so that their bellies can be full on the weekend, so on Monday when they come back, they're ready to learn. And with that, that is it. And we thank you for listening to us, and if there are any questions, I know you answered a lot from our sister who was here before us.
Thank you so much for the presentation and the work you're doing in the schools. Any questions or comments from the committee? Go ahead, sponsor,
Thank
Councilwoman
you.
Turner.
Through the chair again, I just want to thank you ladies for your leadership in this area. It is much needed. We know that our children have a lot to battle before they even make it to the classroom. So it's nice that you're thinking about what they're doing over the weekend. Is the amazing Sarah Parks Jackson still in the room? Okay. You see, they bullied me, council members. They had 2 chapters up in here. But they are doing amazing work, and I ask for your support of this project.
Sure. I do have one question about enrollment. What's the criteria for that?
Well, they have to be on the reduced lunch list, which both schools are. So it could be, and a lot of times, even though we don't have, what we have done with this program is if there is a child that does qualify on the lower level and they have a 8th grade student that's in the house, we give them also, so everybody in the household does receive a packet.
So what happens to the kids who aren't enrolled? Do they watch the kids who are enrolled receive these backpacks and some kids don't get them, or do you do it in another place?
Well, no, they come to the library. And then they pick up at the end of the day, and they pick up their backpack.
Okay.
And they look forward to it.
Yeah, I bet. It's just sad for the kids, I guess, who aren't getting it, but there's only so much.
Well, you
Most
do
of the
have
kids
to, the parent does have to enroll them.
have to do it.
And we try not to, just like we started with probably 45, but we added 5 more because the families, asked us, and we accommodated them.
Yeah, great, thanks. And this brightens the day and makes a big difference. The small things make huge differences. So, all right, did we have a motion or no? Jan?
So move for second reading?
First, second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. This will be read at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, next item, 2024-0008.
Resolution number 2024-0008, awarding a total sum not to exceed $20,000 to the Gamma Alpha Sigma Education Foundation for the purpose of providing a college tour of historically black colleges and universities in the Atlanta, Georgia area from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? I am Ed Long. I am the chair of the Gamma Alpha Sigma Education Foundation, which is located here, in Shaker Heights, Ohio, but serving Cleveland area. The foundation actually was founded in 2014. We got our 501c3 designation in 2014. We've been operating years before that, specifically to provide education, mentoring, and scholarship opportunities and community service opportunities for underserved youth in the city of Cleveland and the surrounding suburbs. One of our major staples is the Sigma Beta Club, which is an organization that was founded by Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated in 1950, and then since then have been establishing chapters all over the country. And then here in Cleveland with the Gamma Alpha Sigma chapter was officially chartered in 2013. However, we had been working with youth for years up until the official chartering date. The Sigma Beta Club is set up specifically to mentor young men between the ages of 8 and 18 years of age, so from elementary school through high school. To date, since our official chartering of 2013, which is when we were able to start tracking records, we've had over 15 young men graduate out of high school through the program, and we've had over 7 have actually matriculated into college, and some of those have actually become men of Phi Beta Sigma, so we're definitely proud of that. Currently, the chapter, the Sigma Beta Club chapter had, it was 21, but we just initiated another 12 youth last weekend, another 12 youth into the program. So some of the things we do is we take them on excursions and trips and also give them mentorship, leadership. They actually run as an actual organization, so they have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, just to teach them organizational skills and leadership skills. And one of the things that we're looking forward to is the HBCU College Tour, which we actually had on the books to do in 2020, pre-COVID. But then, of course, with COVID, everything was shut down. And then even after COVID and things were lifted, as an organization, our risk management didn't allow us to have hands-on contact or face-to-face contact with the youth until mid last year. So everything we were doing was via Zoom. So now we're back at the point of wanting to take the young men on a college tour, and then teach them also as a part of the program financial literacy classes in a curriculum. So I have the PowerPoint. So the HBC College Tour, which is a unique experience to explore post-secondary education, to give them a different background outside of the standard PWI experience. The green button? Okay. So HBCU, for those who don't know, is an acronym for Historically Black Colleges and Universities, established primarily for the education of African Americans, and then also born as a result of segregation through Reconstruction, for individuals who weren't admitted to predominantly white institutions. Some of the notable HBCUs: Howard University, which my daughter is a freshman, Spelman College, Morehouse College, which my son is a graduate. So even though my wife and I are Bowling Green State University and Case Western Reserve University alums, we definitely feel the need and the importance of exposing our youth, especially African-American youth, to the HBCU experience. Why choose HBCU? They can provide a strong sense of support, inclusion. Sometimes in a divided world, you like to be in a situation where you have that moral support and the feeling that everyone is actually there for you to succeed and do the best that you can. Gives a unique cultural heritage, create a sense of belonging, foster leadership, mentorship, and get a high quality of education. Some HBCU campus life, it's no different than PWI campus life. There's organizations, fraternities, sororities, there's band, there's gymnastics, sports. You get all of the same experiences that you have, but again, you're in a close-knit environment that helps foster that positive energy and positive support. Have an excellent academic structure for education, STEM, business, humanities, health, all of the same majors and experiences that you would get at a normal PWI institution. Some notable HBCU alums, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris, John Lewis, Shannon Sharp, Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Common. The list goes on. So there's a lot of heritage for individuals that have matriculated through the HBCU experience. I put up some of the testimonials. I'm not going to read them all because they should be in the packet that you have. And some of the, like I said, we're trying to do the Atlanta University Center. So that would include Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, and Morris Brown College. And with that, I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much. Mr. Long, any questions from committee? Yes, President.
Thank you. Again, welcome.
Yes.
My question is around the foundation. When you're doing the college tours, are you providing funding to a company, or are you doing it directly? Help me to understand.
Oh, no. So the funding would actually be going toward the entire trip itself. So yes, so it would be for travel expenses, lodging expenses, the tour itself. So to, from the individuals, the hotel stay, everything would be
So
going
the foundation actually manages and
exactly
does everything. Does
Yes,
the work.
yes. The foundation is specifically set up to provide funds to support those types of initiatives, like the financial literacy, the travel, all those types of things go into that.
Are the children coming from specific high schools, or how do you select the children?
Yeah, so the individuals that are in the Sigma Beta Club, they are from various high schools. So we're not selected to one particular school. So of the 37 kids, like I say, we go from 8 to 18. So they come from any school, elementary, middle, and high school within the surrounding Cleveland area.
Common Connection is they're part of the
The Sigma Beta Club,
Beta
yes.
Club.
And the foundation, yes.
How long have you been, I don't know if you said this earlier and I missed it, but how long have you been providing this service?
So we've been actually working with the youth in the city of Cleveland since the late 90s, but we officially chartered the chapter with the organization, with Phi Beta Sigma in 2013. And actually, we have the largest chapter of Sigma Beta Club members in the state of Ohio for our fraternity, and we're like number 3 in the Great Lakes region. So we've been doing tremendous work with our chapter here and getting some good recognition for it.
Great, all right, thank you.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So this allocation is for one college tour, the 20,000?
Yes, the college tour, yes.
And with this, did they take a bus? Do you have to charter a bus?
Or bus, yes.
We actually, and this is maybe an offline conversation, sponsored, we have had several HBCU tours coming through here. And I think at one point, one of the organizations had purchased a bus or two. I'm wondering if that could save these college tours. Maybe they go at the same time, but I think it's worth a conversation.
That's a good conversation, yeah, to purchase,
To partner up with
other organizations, yeah.
that actually through a county grant purchased at least one bus, I think, and maybe to save some money and work
Wonder how-
together. If you can't fill a bus, maybe start
Yeah.
working together. But anyways, I think that was my only question. Thank you for this work.
No problem.
Anything else, sponsor, Madam?
And
Turner.
Madam Chair, I just want to echo your comments. When it comes to education, at the county, we do human services. I like to say human development. We've got economic development, community development, human development. And we've been working in this area. So when you speak, I'm hearing parallels with what we're already doing. So it's like finding a way just to connect everyone to see the big picture, but do your part within that big picture and again, just help our children to succeed. So I'm sure there are opportunities and ways to strengthen those relationships.
Well, we need to, because there's strength in numbers too. I mean, if your bus can't be full or someone else's bus, can't we, like, I don't know, you've got your own group, but if there's a bus you can use it at a better rate, that would be helpful. I think it was Students of Promise, right, that got a
That's correct.
bus?
Yeah,
FYI.
well, we're a very small organization, so,
I know.
the purchase or having it, that means we'd be owning an asset.
No, I don't mean for you to purchase a bus. I mean
Oh,
to use the bus.
to use their- okay,
Yes.
yes.
That we already helped
That we
buy.
already helped pay for, if not altogether. So it'd be great. I don't know who to contact, but, all right. Well, listen, thank you. Enjoy the tour. That will be this summer.
You're
Yeah.
gonna, as the council chairwoman said, you're gonna pay the rent to somebody's bus.
Yeah.
Might as well pay it to one that's already has a committed project that's supporting exactly what you're doing, so keep the money in-house.
Maybe you'll get a better rate.
I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that in negotiating. I was just keeping all the money.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just quickly wanted to say again, thank you, the Madam Chair, for allowing me to be at your committee today and speak on behalf of these projects. I was really moved by the testimonials. I know how important it was for my own development as a young woman to actually be able to go to a college campus and delve into what I thought college life might be. It's different than living in your parents' homes when you're on a college campus and you're expected to be autonomous. So I think giving them a preview, allowing them to, be immersed in college life is a wonderful, authentic experience that you really can't put a price tag on. So I just want to thank you for your leadership, and I ask for my colleagues' support.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to
Yes.
make a motion.
Oh, the motion? Sure. First motion by our vice chair, second by
Second, Sharon?
Sharon. All in
Madam Chair, if
favor?
you would add my name.
Sure.
And add my name, please.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a-
you all. Enjoy your
Have a great
afternoon.
tour. All right. Moving on. 2024-0009.
Resolution number 2024-0009, awarding a total sum not to exceed $20,000 to Impact Youth for operating support from District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Austin. I'm the president of Impact Youth Incorporated, where we service our student athletes in the greater Cleveland area. Co-ed, we mentor, tutor, train in way of sports components. Also offer some social emotional development training as well. I'm going to get into the presentation because there's quite a few slides. But prior to hopping into the presentation, this first page, I was sitting here listening to some of our great leaders that positively impact our youth. And it dawned on me that one of the reasons why we launched our initiative and we're coming back with a safety initiative to expand some of our programming is because if you look at the lower right-hand corner, this was a team that basketball team during COVID that we brought together from different student athletes from the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. We brought them together to give them an opportunity to get footage for collegiate opportunities. But last year when we were running our Revolutionary Minds basketball summer camp, these two young men, number 11, and number 5, they got killed 1 week apart from each other. They got murdered as innocent bystanders, going to parties that were, collegiate parties. They were college student athletes, and so it just dawned on me that they were in this picture. But this is why we do what we do, and I think a lot of our leaders that stood before you today do what they do so we could create a vehicle that would alleviate some or eliminate some of the issues that we have plaguing our youth today. With that said, green button correct. Impact Youth is a community-based youth mentoring service designed to actively engage youth in the greater Cleveland area to become involved in the programs and civic activities that improve the quality of life for themselves, their families, and their communities. Some of our programming is academic tutoring, character training, sports with health and wellness, as well as social emotional development. Impact Youth mentoring service designed to not only actively engage our students in the greater Cleveland, student athletes in the greater Cleveland community, but to be involved in these programs and active activities to improve their quality of life for themselves and their families by way of programming. We have language arts. We through perseverance tutoring. We also have math and science, health and wellness. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Impact Youth. What we do have with Impact Youth is our character pillars. Impact Youth Initiative is our first I in Impact, mission-minded, poised, attentive, courage, and trust. These are our 6-week pillars that we use to teach our character training throughout our programming with our youth football program, our cheer program, as well as our basketball programs as well. We're currently adding, in the Euclid area, we're currently adding track as one of our modules so that we can move forward and expand our horizon, so to speak. We started out in the West Park area. We've currently gone to the Martin Luther King area, doing some partnership with Benedictine and high school, and now we're actually expanding out to the Euclid area to do some programming with Euclid High School as well. Okay, so with that being said, Impact Youth Programming, some of our sports mentors are coaches and educators, leaders and community in the community, as well as respected in their professions. Our coaches excel on the collegiate level and even professional sports level as well. They set examples of character, leadership, and accountability. Life skills. Life skills is very important to us. What we do with our young student athletes, again, we go with our Impact Youth Training. We actually expanded some of our social emotional development programming. We have an Impact House where we actually do programming out of that house. We took on, that's in the West Park area. And prior to us getting a larger brick and mortar that we're trying to obtain, we do a lot of our programming out of our Impact House. Impact Youth, we are committed to providing adult models, role models. We are also committed to developing programming that services our youth and deter our youth from getting caught up in the streets and getting caught up into violent activities. We are also committed to educating and guiding the youth to make an informed, positive life choices and increase the likelihood of successful transition to adulthood and responsible parenthood. Okay. Our programs, all-season training, speed and strength program. We actually leverage one of our partners is the Old School R and Gym, and with the Old School R and Gym, we rent that facility out every Sunday, and we do character training there. We also do youth sports and development. In this picture, you see we have student athletes ages 6 all the way up through 18, actually. Some of these are high school athletes and even collegiate athletes that come back. So when we program for ages 6 through 14, we typically service children or youth or high school students 14 through 18, but we also do outreach to our collegiate student athletes as well. Okay. Our other sports programming. We do competitive 5v5 football, 6 through 11U. We train ages 5 through 11U if need be for flag. Tackle football, we start at 6 through 11U. We also do 7v7. We just recently added indoor flag, where we partner with Caps Fieldhouse down on Canal Road in Valley View, Ohio. And we also expanded our flag programming to young ladies now. So we also service young ladies who come in through NFL flag, and they have an opportunity this year. We'll be adding and expanding for our young ladies as well. So that'll be co-ed as well. Okay, so our programming, sports programming, in terms of our AAU basketball is ages 8 through 15. AAU basketball comes with a heavy cost, but we offer sponsorships. So some of our programming goes towards our sponsorships as well. We want to alleviate the cost because AAU basketball ranges anywhere from $475 to $500 per child. What we do with that is we partner with the city of Cleveland and done some Revolutionary Minds. We also done Hoops for Harmony, where we can alleviate some of that cost, get our kids off the street, not only for AAU basketball, but we also offer skills training with those camps. We also offer mentoring, and we offer the tutoring as well. And we offer a tier mentoring program. So with our AAU basketball, we go all the way through the high school level. But what we do is ask our high school student athletes to come back and do some training. They'll come back and do training modules with the younger kids that are ages middle school and elementary, and then they'll also do some tutoring with them as well. So we have a two-tier mentoring component in there as well. We have a junior CAS partnership where we take our young student athletes, we go down to, we go to some Cavs games. Typically, they'll be able to go to Cavs games, but more so, we go to the Cleveland Charge. We have a Cleveland Charge partnership as well, which is their G League. And we are able to take our student athletes to give them experience to play on the Wolstein's floors. Our cheerleaders go out and cheer at halftime, and it gives them exposure to a collegiate environment to spark their minds to, expand beyond their 20-block radius and begin to think about being a college student athlete versus just minimizing it to a youth opportunity. Okay. Other sports programming, basketball clinics. We partner with St. Ignatius High School as well to run some basketball clinics. We'll be doing our Hoops for Harmony clinic, which is another initiative we've taken on because of the nature of our two young men who had passed away by gunfire last year. We started an initiative called Hoops for Harmony, where we're partnered with St. Ignatius to start a free clinic. Typically at St. Ignatius, there's nothing typically free run at St. Ignatius, but we're looking to get programming so that we can continue the mentorship. And this is all in the off season. So our AAU season runs typically from mid-February to late March. Then we typically have in-house leagues our in-house league runs from October to late January. So we wanted to we wanted to put a filler in there for summer opportunities, for summer clinics, so that when the violent nature of our teens tend to rise, we're able to have something in place to keep them off the streets. Okay, so our other sports programming, competitive, we have our cheerleaders. Our cheerleaders are typically, they compete typically in Cleveland Muni. They compete in the Cleveland Muni League, but we also do travel with them as well. When we travel with our young ladies, they'll travel for state titles, no farther than outside of the state of Ohio, but we look to start kind of expanding their horizons and start to do competition on a national level as well. These are some of our leaders. I don't want to take up too much time. This is one of our head administrators, Karen Austin. These are our volunteers that help out. These are the faces behind the scenes that really help motivate and inspire our young student athletes. We have a young lady by the name of Tiara Brown, who is our cheer coordinator. James Smith, this is my cousin. We've been coaching together for 23 years, mentoring kids for 23 years. A Holy Name graduate, played for Holy Name, played at Toledo University. My cousin, David Anthony Thomas, a pastor in one of the local churches. He's our head football coach for our 9U level, high school collegiate experience playing football. And my son, PJ, he's Sean Jr. He's a Siena Heights graduate, played overseas, works with me in the Cleveland Metropolitan Schools to mentor and train our kids throughout the week. We have partnerships with Jameson, Halley School. We're over at Hannah Gibbons, Elmira. It's a few more. I can't think of them right off the bat. We have about 9 schools that we partner with, and I have my son and a couple of my young trainers that work in the schools with us to impart their wisdom and some character training as well. This is a young man, I call him my nephew. He played with my oldest nephew at St. Ignatius. And from 2007 to 2010, they went on to Lake Erie College. We developed a good relationship, mentored him, and he's now one of our coaches, skills coaches. Played basketball in Lake Erie College, has trained and played D2 NAI, IA ball, played and trained with some of the best, Al Jefferson, Eric Bledsoe. He's trained nationally with those guys. And this is me, Sean Austin. Just have been blessed to be put in a position where we serve our student athletes and having some great leaders with me. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity, to have a conversation on what it is God has blessed me to do. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you all. Ms. Meredith, Councilwoman Meredith Turner, I appreciate you for just seeing us and considering us. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the work in your presentation. Any questions from committee? If not, Council President, and then Councilwoman Turner.
Mr. Austin, I just want to commend you on the excellent work that you're doing. Looks like you had your whole family there working with you. How long have you been doing this work?
So I started coaching with Gunning Park Recreation Center in 2004. So it's been almost 20 years for me. Well, it's coming on my 20th year. But I started out at the rec centers, then went out and helped a little bit at a sports component called Raw Talent. And they were charging kids, so what I did was took my experience and I took it to the rec centers. That's where I started, so we could do things from an aspect where it was affordable or free. So a little over 20, going on 20 years, but off the record, mentoring about 23 years.
I mean, the extracurricular activities are, I just think, one of the best practices for really engaging our children and helping them, again, just to succeed in school as well. Tell me, do you know Ted Ginn?
I do know Ted Ginn.
Yeah,
I do know Ted
one of my mentors, and you know the great work he's doing in the same vein of what you are. And we all, I think everyone knows him for the youth who go on into professional sports at times, but the mentoring he does is really the secret sauce, the support he gives to students through his youth supporters, and again, just those extracurricular activities.
Excellent guy. He's given us some advice. Actually, I think it was 2008, he invited us down. They were going to the state championship, and he invited us down to the Orion, Rockside Road, just to speak to our boys. And just to give some advice to our coaches. Real good guy. Great guy, actually.
Thank you. All right, no further questions.
Okay, Councilwoman Turner.
Quickly, thank you, through the chair. Mr. Austin, as you was giving your presentation, you took me back to my days when I was a youth coach. My mentor, former Lakers and former Cleveland Cavaliers, Jim Jones, and all that he used to do in his basketball camps for the youth. I want to thank you for the invitation back in December to celebrate and acknowledge your youth at your annual football and cheer awards banquet. We were at John Marshall, and the gym was packed on a Saturday, just packed with the kids. The parents were present. You fed everybody. Food was good. Everyone was engaged and they wanted to be there. So I was very excited to learn about another opportunity to serve. So I want to thank you for all that you do, whether we're feeding our kids, providing educational opportunities for their career development, or giving them opportunities to develop themselves through athletics. I played basketball and volleyball in college. I credit a lot of my leadership ability to be a part of a team, a role player or the captain. So what you're doing is necessary, and I urge my colleagues to support this legislation. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, do I have a motion to move this?
You have a motion.
Council Vice President Stevens first.
Second.
Sharon second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye, and
Okay,
please
good
add
luck.
my name.
Okay, President Jones. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, next item, 2024-0027. This Moms First program.
Resolution number 2024-0027, authorizing an agreement with City of Cleveland Department of Public Health in the amount not to exceed $682,276 for prenatal and interconceptional care services to high-risk families in connection with the expansion of the Moms First program.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Shauna Rorman with the Office of Early Childhood and Invest in Children. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and for your continued support of the work that we do. Before I jump into Moms First, I want to say with us here today are some of our lead agency partners for the 3 contracts that we're bringing, all of who do the important work of implementing these programs. So I want to shout them out really quickly, and I may ask them to come up if you all have questions. So I want to thank Lita Wills, who's the Commissioner of Health Equity and Social Justice at the Cleveland Department of Public Health, Karen Mincer, Director of Bright Beginnings, and her colleague, Tom Wetzel, who's back there, And Brandy Eaton, who's the Director of Nursing and Clinical Services at the Cuyahoga County Board of Health, and her colleague Ayanna Bailey, who's the supervisor of the Newborn Home Visit Program. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
And I want to also thank Alyssa Swiatek and John Ladd in my office, as well as our DCAP team for their work on our contracts. So the item currently under discussion is a 2-year contract with the City of Cleveland Department of Public Health for the Moms First program. Moms First is a maternal health program that uses community health worker model to provide support to women in the City of Cleveland from pregnancy until their baby reaches 18 months, with the goal of improving birth outcomes and infant health and reducing infant mortality. Moms First also assists with referrals to meet insurance, housing, food, education, and other needs. This program has been providing services to pregnant and parenting moms for approximately 25 years. This program is in a period of transition with its staff. Notably, last fall, the longtime director, Lisa Matthews, retired, and so the city is in the process of finalizing hiring the replacement, who should be in place by March 1st. They also recently hired a new deputy director in November, fully staffed by April with one additional vacancy to fill. And they also have undergone a transition within the structure of the City of Cleveland, still within the Department of Public Health, but have moved into the Division of Health Equity and Social Justice. Moms First receives funding from several sources, including the Federal Healthy Start Program, First Year Cleveland / Ohio Department of Medicaid, City of Cleveland, and the county. The county investment represents 15% of their total budget and supports subcontracts with 2 agencies for 5 staff to deliver the program. Over this 2-year contract period, we expect the program to serve 380 families. So I want to briefly highlight the great work that this program does and why they merit continued support from the county. Moms First serves moms who are at high risk of adverse birth outcomes, yet their outcomes on average are better than those at the city and the county level. So in particular, I'll call out their infant mortality data. In 2021, the infant mortality rate was 10.5 in the City of Cleveland, 7.4 in Cuyahoga County. For Moms First participants, the infant mortality rate was 3.6. This statistic does fluctuate from year to year, but over the last 10 years that we have data, their rate was under both city and county for 8 of those 10 years. So great work that they're doing, and I will leave it there.
Thank you, Shauna. Questions, President Jones?
Tell me, do you work with cities directly? How do you engage the community? Is it through the cities, through, give me a sense of just how you interact with the community.
To Council President, through the chair, are you specifically referring to the City of Cleveland or other municipalities?
Well, I'll go right into it. In other municipalities, I was in the city of Maple Heights that I represent, and Mayor Annette Blackwell, she, in her, I won't call it the State of the City address, but it was like that. She was sharing things going on, and she said this past year they had 0 infant mortality deaths. So I guess at the heart, I'm curious as to what engagement you may, what part did you play in the great outcome that we had in Maple Heights?
So before the director answers, the first Moms First program, though, was just Cleveland. This is just this program we're referencing today now is Cleveland. It's a Cleveland program, and we've supported this for years. But I think the broader question is invest in children and how they address infant mortality throughout the county, correct? Okay.
She answered the question for you.
No, I didn't answer it. So it's a bigger question.
It is
It's a bigger question you're asking.
It is a bigger question. I appreciate it. Moms First is, let me back up. I would say many of the programs that we fund that are countywide, including Newborn Home Visit and programs through Bright Beginnings, are aimed at sort of educating and supporting parents in their role as parents, especially in that first year, but may not directly be looking at infant mortality as an outcome the way that Moms First does. So our support outside of the City of Cleveland and outside of this program is through those kinds of countywide, more general parent support, or sort of that newborn, we're catching you with that visit, which I'll talk about later. We have not historically partnered directly with Maple Heights, although I have heard wonderful things about the work that Mayor Blackburn has done around infant mortality. It would be tough to partner with all the municipalities, I think, that struggle with this issue, especially in the inner ring. But we haven't directly partnered with them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Good questions. So we can talk later about data throughout the county on infant mortality and what, if anything, we can do with Invest in Children to take a look at that. I know that Invest in Children needs funding for existing programs that we'll be looking at mid-budget cycle, but for this particular initiative, it seems like infant mortality is being addressed in an effective, measurable way. So I appreciate this work with the partnership in the city, with the city of Cleveland and everybody on board through the different boards of health and providers. So do I have a motion? Well, let's look at that. I'm used to ARPA items and saying second reading. This
we need
period is from 1/1/24. We're behind a little bit. So are we okay with 3 readings on this?
The effective date is January
I
1,
hear.
so as long as
Okay, I'm
that
looking at
holds.
that. I'm looking at that. We're a month late.
My
Okay.
preference would be second
Sure.
reading, but
And that's only, I don't mind if the committee doesn't mind to move this under suspension for second reading adoption.
So move to bring it forward for second reading suspension for adoption at the next
Thank-
meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
But I have a question.
Sure.
Or,
No, go ahead.
Actually, you talked about having us look at what we're doing for infant mortality countywide.
Yes.
And can we have, you and I talk about having that as a special add-on to one of our meetings?
Oh, yeah,
So
I'm-
that we can be updated on that, because those numbers, while they maybe have reduced in a couple of communities, they're still too high.
Absolutely.
That's all, thank you.
No, I agree.
I just have one question before we
Okay.
vote. If somebody doesn't get engaged with the program during the pregnancy, but it says it goes 18 months, can they get the advantages of this if they're a Cleveland resident? Because can they come in after the baby has been born?
I'm going to call my colleague
Oh,
Rita
sorry
Wills
about
up
that. I didn't
to,
mean
that's
to-
okay.
Yeah.
City of Cleveland Board of Health Commissioner? What?
Health Equity and Social Justice at the Department of Public Health.
Okay.
Thank you, Lita Wills. Thank you for having me.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, could you step closer to the mic?
Sure. So if I understand the question correctly, it's around how we accept pregnant moms into the program for services. They come in during the pregnancy, and your question is, can they get this help after the baby is born?
Yeah, they missed participation during the pregnancy, but realized that there was a need because a lot of infant mortality takes place, when, in any of that time frame for that.
Sure. So we primarily use the model of working with, because we're trying to prevent infant mortality. So infant mortality is typically an issue that happens where the factors are going to show up during the pregnancy. So we're trying to make it as healthy a pregnancy as possible. So we provide that service during pregnancy and then stay with mom and baby until baby's 18 months old. Once that happens, there are other resources, if needed, that they're referred to as the baby gets older. There's other agencies that handle toddler stages.
Sure.
And but for moms who have had the baby and need that support, they would be referred either from their primary healthcare physician or healthcare provider to another program that's suitable for working directly with mom and baby after baby's born.
Thank you.
Right beginning, or that, this will segue. No, thank you so much. We're looking at doulas and breastfeeding and vitamins and health for the moms.
So what's the name of one of the programs that people would, as an example, not an exclusivity, but just, for example, if Jack has an employee or I do in our other worlds, where do we send them?
So one of the programs that we would refer to is Help Me Grow, but in general, the central intake for us in the county is we refer everyone to Bright Beginnings, and then Bright Beginnings determines which is the specific service that you need.
Excellent. Thank you.
Which we'll hear about shortly. Okay, so we have a first and a second, I think. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We're moving along. Next item, 2024-0028.
Resolution number 2024-0028, authorizing an agreement with Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio in the amount not to exceed $1,350,000 for fiscal agent and administrative services in connection with Bright Beginning System and Parent Support Department related program services.
Yes, so this is a request for a new 2-year contract to support the Bright Beginnings Parent Support Department, which was created in 2022 with our support and continues to refine its menu of supports for parents with young children. I will pause here to say that Bright Beginnings serves many important functions in our community. We used to fund the Parents as Teachers Home Visiting Program, which is now receiving funding from the state, which allowed us in 2022 to shift those dollars to support the expansion of their parent support services. But they also provide, as my colleague Lita mentioned, central intake for the state of Ohio for the Help Me Grow Home Visiting Program broadly, which includes many different programs, as well as for early intervention, all of which Karen could speak to if you were interested, but those are outside of the scope of this particular contract. So I just want to make that clear. So the Parent Support Department builds on existing evidence-based programming and expands the continuum of specialized services for at-risk families with young children prenatally until kindergarten. County dollars fund 4 programs and initiatives within the Parent Support Department. So we've got Parents Connect, which is designed to reach and connect with families via a variety of social media platforms where many families are spending their time. The goal of Parents Connect is not only to provide information, resources, and events to promote healthy child development and positive parenting practices, but to develop also a community of parents to support each other and share ideas and experiences. There are paid parent ambassadors who also work in this program to engage families and help provide content and monitor the different sites for adherence to group rules. This program has really taken off. At the end of 2023, there were 1,200 members on their Facebook group. I personally follow their Instagram account. It is lovely. There are lots of really helpful tips for parents of young children. So that's the first part of this bigger department. Triple P is also known as Positive Parenting Program. This is an evidence-based parenting program which offers various support options for short-term education, strategies, and supports for parents seeking help with everyday parenting challenges. So options include individual consultation, workshops, or groups that can be conducted in a variety of formats. Great for busy parents and may serve as a door to future further services if needed. Parent Support Led Program is for families with preschool-aged children, 3 to 5, with elevated lead levels, and it builds on the early intervention services that are currently available for children up to age 3. So this is, I'll just say, this is a gap that had been identified in our system where in, I believe, 2019, the state of Ohio changed its rules around automatic eligibility for early intervention, which is for 0, 1, and 2-year-olds, so that any child with elevated blood lead levels was eligible for services. But it left a gap for children 3 to 5, preschool-age children. There weren't any services that were automatically available through the state to sort of bridge the gap between 0 to 3 and then entry into kindergarten, where the state would take over with any IEP that was needed. And so this program really fills that gap. It would address the impacts of child development from exposure to lead, and includes other services like nutrition and cleaning consultations, developmental screenings, referrals to a variety of early childhood and lead resources in the county. And then the fourth component that these dollars fund is fatherhood resources, which is a component that is interwoven into all of their other parent support programs to really aimed at providing services to specifically target fathers and support them in their role as fathers. So they are continuing to build capacity in the Parent Support Department, Bright Beginnings, and they have focused on education and outreach to make families in our community, as well as other early childhood providers, aware of their programs. Parents Connect, as I mentioned, has grown steadily over the past 6 years. We're really excited to see the other programs take off in a similar fashion. I will leave it there and take your questions.
Thank you. Questions? I have a question about, too quick, I know it's a long meeting, the lead program, parent support,
Parent support lead program.
is there anything to be done to intervene on the damage done by lead exposure?
Ask Karen to come up. And I will say that what is recommended is high-quality early learning program and any supplemental programs to support learning. So Spark is a great program that really tries to recruit families whose children have elevated lead levels.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Spark too, you know that. Okay, not now.
I am Karen Mincer, Director of Bright Beginnings, and thank you for all your support. I would just say it's so devastating to see the lead in our community. And when we talked about the early intervention across Ohio, clearly Cuyahoga County is the kids face significant lead issues. And so there's, first of all, when kids are coming to us, a lot of those families don't think that their children have delays yet. They're young, they just have had the lead, but when we start screening them and getting them evaluated, we find out a lot of them are already seeing sensory issues, behavior issues. So that's the first step, is to try to help them to understand what it might look like and to support them. We provide a lot of support to all of the difficult issues with housing and legal issues, and getting them connected to that and support families that way. And a lot of what we're doing is helping them to mitigate the lead. So there are things that we can do to reduce the lead. So part of it is, if lead is in their home, how can they make sure that their child is not continuing to get lead? So how can they clean the home? Where in the home would be safe for the child to play? All of those kinds of things. And so we're really trying to connect them then, whether it's early childhood mental health supports, whether it's the Spark program for literacy, and really getting that early. So I think that the trajectory can be different, and that's what we're trying to do.
So there was a lot of money given to the Lead Coalition. Did we get money from that? Yeah, yeah, you don't.
We don't get funding from the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, but we partner with them in kind on some of the committee work that is centered on young children. So for example, there's a subcommittee that's focused on lead hazards in child care centers. There's another group that's focused on making sure children in school districts are getting access to the services that they need. The City of Cleveland has a screening and testing commission. So there isn't money coming directly to us. And I will also say that there is a consultant working on a toolkit that is designed to, or intended to, teach professionals who work in the early childhood system, about lead and what it does and why it's bad and why children need to be tested, but also how to talk to parents and families about lead. So indirectly, we're in the mix, but we're not receiving direct funding.
Okay. Thank you so much for the work. And then lastly, fatherhood. We have a fatherhood initiative. No, is this fatherhood?
It's part of the Parent Support Department, yes.
We have a fatherhood initiative at the county that's funded, close to $1 million, less now. Is this duplicative, what you're doing?
I'm going to ask my colleague Tom Wetzel to present about, he knows a little bit more of the details of how we work.
I'm sorry, everybody. 3 more items. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for your support. Tom Wetzel, I'm the Parent Support Manager at Bright Beginnings. So the fatherhood resources is really different than fatherhood initiative. So we may interact with programs that are supported through the fatherhood initiative as resources for the dads we work with. But really the main mission of fatherhood resources is to involve dads in all our programs, see them as equal participants in the family. So whether that's the Parents as Teachers home visiting, the lead program, Parents Connect, all of it, we interact with dads, involve them more in those programs. and recognize the important role that they play in their children's lives.
Okay. To me, it just seems like we have this huge funded agency at the county, and maybe there just seems to be a different role, I guess. But you're specific, trying to involve fathers in these particular
Yeah, so we
0
would-
through 5?
We would involve dads within the different program models, one, and then individually work with dads maybe on the unique issues that dads face.
But isn't that what the Fatherhood Initiative should be doing?
That, to a point, I would say that a lot of times fathers are looked at as providing economic resources. I think we're really trying to move beyond that in early childhood to involve dads in all the other aspects that he provides to his children.
Okay, all right.
To my colleague, the Fatherhood Initiative that we have with Al Grimes as the director, the only thing that they have for infants is the contract they have with Metro in terms of when the baby is in the womb, and I forget, boot camp for dads or something like that. So I think this is a little different in terms of when the baby comes out. So they have several contracts, but not at this age group where they're actually trying to engage them into the preschool. They have the K through 8 and all that, but I think that's the only difference.
We're really not looking to recruit dads from the community as separate, but rather the families that are already involved in our programs, reaching dads.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking questions. Thank you. Do I have a motion to move this to the next meeting under?
So moved.
Wait. Yeah, same thing, under suspension. For a second, under suspension, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, County Board of Health on Invest in Children Program, Shauna. Next one, 2024-0029.
Thank you. Our last one.
I think we have to read it, Chair.
Right.
We have a new clerk.
Resolution 2024-0029, authorizing an agreement with Cuyahoga County Board of Health in the amount not to exceed $1,450,000 for program administration services for the newborn home visiting program for the Invest in Children program for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. This is our last one. This is a 2-year contract with the County Board of Health for newborn home visiting. This program provides a home visit by a registered nurse to eligible first-time and teen moms in Cuyahoga County. New moms learn about the health and growth of their baby and get answers to their questions. If mom or her baby have any medical problems, the nurse will discuss them, explain healthcare options, provide guidance, and make referrals. So in that visit, mom and baby get a head-to-toe assessment, and there's an assessment of the home environment as well. The program's outreach specialists identify eligible mothers giving birth to babies at 4 hospitals: University Hospital, Main Campus, Metro Health, Main Campus, Hillcrest, and Fairview. We were very happy to support newborn home visits expansion in 2022 from just UH and Metro to include Hillcrest and Fairview, and we're happy to be able to continue supporting that expanded model. Priority status for home visits is given to low-income mothers below 200% of poverty, teen mothers through the age of 19, and mothers living in high-priority infant mortality areas, as determined by the Board of Health and Invest in Children. There are a number of things I could walk through if you're interested about what's included in the visit, but for the sake of brevity, I will just say that in 2022, there was we rebounded after COVID and returned. The Board of Health nurses returned to doing home visits, and so in that year, we served 1,568 moms. The screening part is really important, and so I want to highlight the impact of that. Screenings performed by nurses identified 48 moms with postnatal depression, made referrals as appropriate, and 724 moms with medical issues for which they were also referred. The most common medical issue among moms was hypertension, and then followed by anemia and gestational diabetes. So in addition to the assessments of mom, nurses also identified 400 babies with medical issues, primarily jaundice, and for which most of those were also referred to the pediatrician. So this is a really critical visit where it's not a long-term like other home visiting programs, but it is this point in time where they're catching really important health issues and helping those moms access health care for that. Nurses also distributed 17 pack and plays to families and work with the families to encourage safe sleep. So really great program. I will leave it there and take your questions.
Yeah, thank you. This is really a popular, important program that needs to be continued to be funded. Any questions? Do you need, do we meet the demand with what you're provided here today?
There are always ways to expand this program. So when we discussed with the staff in 2022 or before 2022 what expansion would look like, we laid out a couple of different options. One was, do you have somebody on the weekends at the hospital? Because the outreach specialists are there Monday through Friday. So do you have somebody on the weekends, and how many would that capture? Or do you expand to 2 new hospitals, and how many would that capture? And so that's ultimately the route we went. So I will say there's always room for increase, and I'll ask Brandy if she wants to come up, not to belabor the meeting, but to hear it directly from her.
Hello. Hey, Brandy.
Brandy Eaton, Director of Nursing and Clinical Services at the Cuyahoga County Board of Health.
Excuse me, can you speak into the microphone, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Brandy Eaton, Director of Nursing and Clinical Services at the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. So I would agree with Shauna, there's always room for expansion. I think we do meet the demand, but we do have kind of a restricted criteria for moms that we sign up.
This used to be a universal program, and the funding for it was much larger. And so I was not working at Invest in Children when that was the way the program was run. So it has shrunk, as Brandy mentioned, in terms of the eligibility criteria, out of necessity for the dollars that were there. But this used to be a one-time visit, which in fact, I will say, our own John Ladd, whose children are, I won't mention how old they are, but they're not newborns. And John and his wife received a home visit just 5 or 10 years ago when they were new parents.
I remember when I started chairing this committee that it was universal, right? Every mom would be given a home visit, and then that pool keeps dwindling. And I think this is a place where we could afford some investment. So especially with the numbers you just articulated.
Madam Chair, how do we get that additional investment? Because I agree with you. Sometimes we have middle-class families who need that investment because they're newly middle class, or they did not have any family training about health care and where to reach for support. So typically our departments negotiate with the exec on what their budgets are going to be, and then they come to us. We don't know what they could really use to get everywhere. And so how do we get that information?
So thank you so much, Vice Chair. And new moms, no matter where you live or what class, socioeconomic class you're in. I mean, a new mom is like, whoa. I've not been a mom, but I imagine if I were, I would need this visit. So I think what we do is come back at mid-year, budget year. I'm looking at this program funding and Spark, which is a literacy program that we touched on during our budget hearings. So I'm looking at both of those for assessment of the funding levels. We'll come back.
So you've got a list, you're ticking it twice, and we're
I do.
Come back and focus on it?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
I'm with you on
Thank you. Okay.
And we can put together, we can work with the Board of Health and Family Connections to put together a budget or a cost of what it would take to expand in maybe 1 or 2 particular ways, whether it's raising eligibility criteria and how many more do we think that would reach. So we can put together some cost estimates for that.
And I would just also add, we are short 1 nurse right now. We just have a vacancy. But we do try to look outside of the Medicaid eligible pool for moms that had identified risk, whether that is medical or psychosocial, to try and get outside of the Medicaid pool.
Okay, thanks so much. We'll see you again soon. But for now, do I have a motion to move this to the next council meeting for recommendation of passage under suspension, second reading?
Of course you have a motion.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Shauna. Okay, next item, patient waiter of Christie coming up. 2024-0036.
Resolution 2024-0036, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to Pet Fix Northeast Ohio Incorporated for the purpose of the clinic roof replacement project from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good afternoon. Can you give your name?
Hi, I'm Christy Luco, Executive Director of Pet Fix Northeast Ohio. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to apply for these ARPA funds and to tell you a little bit about our project. Pet Fix Northeast Ohio is a nonprofit spay and neuter clinic for cats and dogs, a little different than some of the other things we've heard about today. We started in 2006 as a mobile clinic traveling around Northeast Ohio. And then a little more than 10 years ago, we bought a building in Euclid on East 222nd Street, renovated it, and made it our permanent stationary clinic. We offer affordable spay and neuter surgery, plus a few vaccines, flea prevention, microchipping, to owned animals, community cats, and to rescues and shelters offering pets for adoption, including 20 dogs each month from the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter. Our low prices are meant to make spay and neuter affordable for everyone so that people can be responsible pet owners and they don't have to worry about the cost of fixing their pet and choose between that and paying their bills. Our surgery fees run from $25 for a community cat to $105 for the largest female dog. These are much lower than what you'd find at a full-service for-profit veterinary clinic. Our donors also raise additional funds, which we use to subsidize surgeries for pet owners that receive government assistance, so making our low prices even more affordable for those who truly need it. These surgery fees cover about 70 to 80% of the cost of keeping our clinic doors open. We raise the remaining funds through donations from the community and grants from foundations. Demand for these affordable services continues to be extremely high. Last year, our medical team performed 10,900 surgeries, our highest annual number ever. Since beginning operations in 2006, we've fixed more than 120,000 cats and dogs, preventing well over 500,000 pets from struggling on the streets as strays or ending up in shelters because there just aren't enough homes. We're currently looking for ways to expand our capacity, from adding a third vet and a second shift of surgeries each day, to the possibility of expanding our physical footprint with the addition of the building adjacent to our clinic. Our project request for the ARPA funding is simple and straightforward. We need a new roof for our clinic. It's not sexy. It doesn't pull at your heartstrings, but it is essential to enabling us to continue to do this critical work for the community. Since we moved into our building, we've dealt with many episodes of leaking from the roof. When we bought the building and had it inspected in 2012, the inspector said the life of the roof was about 5 years. Now we're looking at 11 years on. We've handled this with repairs by roofing companies that have temporarily fixed the problem. But we know that we need a longer-term solution, a completely new roof, which will cost us approximately $60,000. Since I completed the application for the funding, our organization has learned that we are the beneficiary of an estate, and we've earmarked those funds of about $30,000 to go towards paying for part of this project. So we are hopeful that the ARPA funds can help us make a dent in the remainder of the roof costs. And I'm happy to try and answer any questions.
No questions, I don't think, but I know you've been patiently waiting. I will say that this resource in the county is rare. It's the only one really left for people who can't afford to spay and neuter their cats, dogs. The waiting list is what for a cat?
I mean,
a spay?
Yeah, we're booking out 3 or 4 months. And if we had opened up more months, we'd be booking out further. So like every February 1st, we're opening up May appointments, and they'll call on February 1st and those will be gone within, a few days.
Huge demand, huge need. And what this does, it impacts the county kennel, the shelter, because if the dogs weren't getting fixed at Pet Fix or the help with Pet Fix, our population at our shelter would be greatly increased, which causes a huge problem. We are not euthanizing, at least up until recently, for space, and this is a huge component of why we're not. And we appreciate your work, and I hope you're able to fill that gap of what it's going to be about if this goes through, the ARPA $20,000. How-
20, yeah, we do have some operating reserves, so I think that we've known we needed to do this for a while, so we've
Okay.
been tucking some money away.
Okay, so I appreciate that, and I'm going to make a motion to move this to the next full council for second reading.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much for your wait, too. I hope.
Thank
I'll
you.
see
Thank
you.
you for your
Good luck with the roof. All right,
Is the, Madam Chair, is the amount 10,000 or 20,000?
10. They need 20 more.
Oh, okay. I knew I heard 20.
You did. All right. There's- All right. 2020, I didn't want to take time off. 2024-0037.
Resolution.
Finally, College Now, I'm so sorry.
Resolution 2024-0037, authorizing an amendment to a grant agreement with College Now Greater Cleveland for the administration and management of debt repayment scholarships and completion scholarships to eligible post-secondary students in connection with the Cuyahoga County Completion Scholarship Program for the period September 15th, 2022 through September 14th, 2024, to add private four-year institutions in the state of Ohio as eligible institutions.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Kitty Warshawski from College Now. It's nice to see all of you. We're so grateful for your tremendous support, and we thought we would take a moment first to just make another plug for our scholarship program that you already support and for which we are so grateful. And when I heard you talking, Councilwoman Simon, about the possibility of coming back to revisit mid-budget cycle for increasing scholarship, increasing other potential funding for opportunities, we hope that you'll consider that, or council will consider that for our regular scholarship program, which is not before you today. But we just want to thank you for all that you've been doing in general in post-secondary educational attainment. And our colleagues, my colleagues, Maggie and Bob, are going to talk about the success of the current program and then the need for the amendment.
Okay, we will bring you back to get an update on the educational assistance program, the grant that you get through our budget every
Correct.
year. But
Right,
let's
right,
just focus this now because it's late. Thank you. Maggie, hi.
Maggie McGrath with College Now.
Bob Durham with College Now.
Great. Thank you. We're so pleased to be here. We will not say too much. Again, we were delighted to be awarded the $2.5 million to administer and manage two distinct initiatives for eligible Cuyahoga County residents, the college completion scholarships and the debt repayment program. We will just say that both are going exceedingly well. On the college completion scholarships, all 13 public institutions have been contacted to obtain lists of eligible students. That has been done. At this point, more than 400 students, juniors and seniors, are eligible, and those payments, the first sort of round of payments are going out. Institutions are thrilled, and more students are getting across the finish line, which is amazing. And so we're excited about that. And then we do anticipate spending sort of the second tranche, the second year of funding next academic year.
So just as a I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just for the committee's benefit, former executive Budish and I co-sponsored the $2.5 million for these two components. One's the college completion. We're hearing about students who need maybe the last semester to finish college. And the second is, you'll talk about why we're here, is the debt repayment, where students have to leave school and they're stuck in this limbo without being able to get back in because of the transcripts, and you'll explain that and why we're here.
Actually, we came with the idea that students at private institutions are actually needing the completion scholarships as well.
That's
Yes.
right. Reverse. Yeah, it's the
So,
completion.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So we've been approached with some students that are really needing that last mile dollar to get across the finish line, and it is their last semester. And so it would really make a difference in the region to help those students as well get that diploma. And I will say the best quote is, the most expensive degree is the one that you do not finish. So we would really help, it would really help sort of increase flexibility for us in helping more students get that
I
diploma.
apologize, of course.
No,
And so what we've done with this program, it's been public institutions, and now there's a need for private institutions in the county to benefit from, the students of these private institutions to benefit from this program. And that's why we're here.
Correct.
And if I could just add one more thing, we would, if this is approved, we would use the remaining amount of money that hasn't been expended yet toward that. Or those students would be, exactly, they would be considered for consideration as well.
Okay, thanks.
So if I understand this correctly, all we're doing is adding a new category that
Correct.
wasn't covered in the original piece of legislation.
Correct.
And we're finding there's a gap in this section. So it's the same rationale we had in the previous program. The only
And-
difference is that they were not included on the private institutions.
Same eligibility criteria, everything remains the same.
Okay.
And it was also because we weren't quite positive what the need would be at the public schools. It's come back that we might have a little bit of unused money, and the
Okay.
private school
You got-
students could use it
Yeah,
as
a
well.
little bit left to help support another student in another application in another need. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, any questions? If not, and you will come back with I think, for a good half hour at least, to talk about all these programs, because we're really proud of the work you're doing. Hey, Bob, do you have anything to add? No. So we can leave at 5 o'clock. We will have you come back, but I'm going to make a motion that this matter, 3 readings, I think is fine. Motion to move this out of committee into the next full council meeting for second reading with the recommendation of passage. That's my motion.
Second, but I didn't know the timeliness to which some of these applications, these.
I think we're okay, right?
You're okay?
With 3 readings. Yep, fall.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my motion.
Second.
Second, Sharon, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming up and waiting through this whole meeting.
Thank you so much, and I hope you didn't think it was inappropriate that I was talking about the other item as
Oh,
well.
no,
We're
no,
just
no.
so pleased and privileged to
No,
be
we're
able to
good.
do all this.
Okay, thanks, sorry, your lesson.
you.
Okay, someone had to be last on the agenda, I guess. Okay.
our pleasure. Thank you.
Meeting is done. Thanks, everybody.